So you're a stomach sleeper, are you? Well, that makes you special. Stomach sleeping is the rarest of all the common sleep positions, and those that naturally adopt this position are in the clear minority. But for CPAP users that stomach sleep, is that a good kind of special, like being a math savant? Or the other kind of special, like being, well, we like him, he just does some pretty weird things kind of special? Well, the answer is a little bit of both. The good news is that there really are clear winners when it comes to mask models for stomach sleepers. I'll save you some time and tell you right now. If you sleep on your stomach and you're a mouth breather, the only mask I'm going to recommend to you is the new ResMed AirTouch F30i, and you'll learn why in this video. So if you are a stomach sleeper, getting the right mask becomes absolutely vital. Fortunately for you, your pal Rubes here is going to help you out and hook you up with what you need in this video dedicated to helping you find the best CPAP mask for a stomach sleeper. Don't worry friends, I haven't forgotten you. I'll go over the general things to consider when choosing a mask, along with my top recommendation, and a few alternatives if your needs are more specific. But first, like I said, I'm Ruben. Well, I said Rubes, but I'm Ruben from RespShop. Since 2008, we've been selling and advising on all things CPAP from our base in Redmond, Washington. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and have a website with qualified staff on hand via online chat and the old-fashioned telephone. So subscribe to our channel and pages or get in touch directly, and we'll do our best to, no sod that, we will help you. Thanks very much. Let's start with the general things that you should think about when choosing a mask as a stomach sleeper. Interestingly enough, stomach sleeping can be an effective way of reducing your apnea symptoms. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, your regular nighttime wakings are caused by relaxed tissue blocking your airways. And most often, it's your tongue or the soft neck tissue that does it. But if you sleep on your back, then gravity pulls your tongue and neck tissue backwards into your throat. And so your AHI, the number that measures how badly your apnea is affecting your sleep, will tend to be increased. If you sleep on your side, then gravity isn't pulling the tongue and neck back into your throat, but it isn't keeping them out of it either. Whereas those special stomach sleepers out there have figured out a way to use gravity to their advantage. If you sleep on your stomach, gravity will pull your tongue and neck tissue forward and out of your airway. And since the tissue at the back of your neck is kept in place by your cervical spine, it means gravity keeps the airway as wide open as it could be, meaning less snoring and less wakings in the night. Marvelous. But unfortunately, stomach sleeping by itself isn't usually enough to prevent the symptoms of sleep apnea if you have it. It makes things better, yes, but not enough to mean that you don't still need CPAP therapy to keep it in check. And it is here where stomach sleepers are the less desirable kind of special. The problem is getting a mask with a tube attached to it onto your face when you already have a pillow either on or very near your face already. The difficulty is that stomach sleepers tend to either sleep completely face down, with their nose and mouth mostly pressed into a pillow or mattress, or they sleep with their head sharply turned to the side, which means that your face will probably be more pressed into the pillow than side or back sleepers, and you might end up turning into the pillow when you move too. Neither of these is particularly great if you somehow need to fit a mask and tube between your mouth, nose, and pillow. In fact, if you are one of those people that naturally sleep on their stomach with their face almost completely face down into the pillow or mattress, then there aren't really any suitable mask options for you. There has to be some space to work with after all. If that is you, there are only really two options. You can try to train yourself into a different sleeping position and choose a mask suitable for that other position, or you could try a special pillow or mattress with a cutout to create the space you need for a mask, like a massage pillow. But I've tested it for myself and trust me, I'll just say it's not the most comfortable. But let's suppose that you sleep on your stomach, but you turn your head to the side, giving you some, but not much, space between your mouth and nose and the pillow or mattress. What mask is going to be best for you? Well, the main thing is to reduce the size of whatever the mask puts in front of your mouth and nose to avoid your mask pressing into your pillow and putting pressure on your face and potentially dislodging the cushion. One of the things that many masks put in front of your face is the tube. If the tube connects to your mask at the front, it will be sticking forward from your cushion and may get caught under your body, under your neck, or just press into the pillow, making it easier for your mask to get dislodged. So as a stomach sleeper, it's even more important for you to get a mask with a top of head connection point than it is for a side sleeper. This already greatly reduces the number of masks that you should consider. I'd also recommend pairing the top of head mask with a hose lift like the one we sell on RespShop.com, which will keep the tubing raised up and away from your turning head to make sure that you have the space that you need if you turn in the night while sleeping on your stomach. The next thing to think about is the size of the cushion that your mask has. Less is most definitely more here. You want a small cushion so it doesn't push into your pillow and press the mask into your face. And you don't want hard plastic in that cushion either if it can be avoided, as this is worse when pressed into your skin than silicone, and it can get dislodged by the pillow too. But whatever mask you try, getting a good seal with a mask that's pushed into a pillow is going to be difficult, especially at higher pressures. Because smaller, low plastic mask cushions are so important here, stomach sleeping doesn't work well with mouth breathing. If you breathe through your mouth, you need to use a full face or a hybrid mask, and these have to have bigger cushions to go around your mouth and nose, and so they often require plastic to do so. Like I said at the start of this video, if you're a stomach sleeper that mouth breathes, there is a clear choice for you, and that's ResMed's AirTouch F30i. It's a new mask that has a top of head tube connection and a mask cushion made entirely out of silicone. It comes in a clear and a comfort version, and the choice between those two is really up to you. Comfort has the side of head tubes wrapped in fabric, which is softer and more comfortable, but the clear silicone tubing has a little more grip and is easier to clean. The seal on this mask is good too, but that will be really put to the test if you sleep on your stomach and need higher pressures, like above 12 centimeters H2O. Even so, if this mask doesn't work for you, then there won't be many, if any, that will. Your only other option is to train yourself out of mouth breathing, and if that's you, then you're in luck. We've done a video explaining how to do that, linked above me right here and in the description below. Now for the rest of this video, I'm going to assume that you're a nose breather as well as a stomach sleeper, of course. If so, you can probably rule out standard nasal masks of the older variety that enclose your nose in plastic like the ResMed N20 does. As mentioned, this is the opposite of what you're going to want as a stomach sleeper, which leaves nasal pillow and nasal cradle masks. Both of these style masks come in versions that have top of head connection points, and they tend to have smaller cushions as well, which is exactly what you're looking for. But which is better? Well, for most people, nasal pillows are probably going to be the way to go. As you've no doubt picked up already, the challenge is getting a good seal with only a small space to work with. And nothing beats a pillow mask when it comes to good seal in a small space. Nasal pillows only need to cover the nostrils, and the pillow protrusions mean that the seal is extremely good, usually enough to withstand the pressing it gets as you sleep on your stomach. The time to consider a nasal cradle mask would be if you have sensitive nostrils and so find the air rushing up from the pillow mask too uncomfortable. Or if you find that the pressure on the pillow mask means that the pillows also get pressed into your nostrils and cause additional irritation. If it's the air that you find uncomfortable, then your nostrils will usually harden after a while and this will be less of a problem. So it's probably worth just persevering for a while and maybe mix your masks up from a nasal cradle when you need a break, then back to the nasal pillows until your nostrils get used to it. But if it is the extra pressure on the inside of your nose that's causing you an issue, then you can try a nasal cradle, especially if you don't tend to move much in the night and aren't having much of a problem with leaks. Okay, so I've gone over a lot so far. But to summarize, the things you need from a mask as a stomach sleeper are a top of head connection point, a small cushion with little or no plastic, and nasal pillows for seal. So for me, this makes the choice pretty obvious. ResMed's AirFit P30i. It has all the features that you'll probably need for stomach sleeping. It has the top of head connection point, and bonus, the air diffusion happens at that connection point too, which means that the air coming out will be kept away from your pillow. It also has an almost completely silicone mask cushion, except from the slight rigid bit in the diffusion foam, and it has ResMed's latest tapered silicone technology in the pillows that give a fantastic seal and are very unlikely to invert, which can be a problem for some pillow masks. Now, if you want more details about the P30i and its various features, you can watch the full review video that I've done on this mask. I'll link it above me and in the description. So the P30i would be my recommended choice, but what are some alternatives for those with different considerations? Well, if it's budget that you're concerned about, then you could try Philips DreamWear Pillow CPAP Mask. This has all the features I mentioned that you should look out for, and it is usually more affordable than ResMed's P30i. The reason I didn't recommend this mask is that the pillows are not particularly good at sealing and are prone to pillow inversion. The mask is pretty old now, and although the cradle version in the DreamWear series is still quite popular, the pillow version tends to get a pass, but I will say that the frame on it is also really nice. That said, I also know some people that just love the DreamWear series, so you could try it for yourself and know that you're covered under RespShop's 60-day mask guarantee, where you can return a mask even if it's used within 60 days for full store credit. Another alternative could be ResMed's N30i. Where the P30i has pillows, the N30i has a nasal cradle. So if seal is less of a problem, or if you find pillows too uncomfortable, then this would be a great alternative option. You can get the N30i in either an AirFit or an AirTouch version. The AirFit version has a purely silicone cushion and only some of the headgear is fabric covered, whereas the AirTouch fuses fabric into the mask cushion and completely covers the headgear in fabric. The AirFit has more grip on the head and it's easier to clean, whereas the AirTouch is often more comfortable but can be a bit more expensive with consumables. I personally prefer the AirTouch version, especially with the N30i, but you take your pick here. Lastly, in the unlikely circumstance that you don't need a top-of-head connection because you have enough space for a tube at the front, then you could choose a mask with more minimal headgear. ResMed's AirFit P10 could be a good option, or Fisher & Paykel's Nova Micro Nasal Pillow Mask. Just make sure the minimal headgear doesn't get dislodged if you tend to turn in the night. And be aware that the only air venting will be happening at the tube end, so make sure that this doesn't get covered in your pillow. That would be a nice way to wake you up in the night with a start. So to sum up, most of the time I'd say that if you're a stomach sleeper, you should try ResMed's P30i, unless you simply must mouth breathe, in which case ResMed's AirTouch F30i is probably the right bet. There are a few alternatives that I've mentioned though, and if you do get your mask through RespShop.com, you can shop with the peace of mind of our 60-day mask assurance policy. What could be better than trying to find your ideal mask with the comfort of knowing that you won't be wasting your money? Well, maybe one thing is better, a regular and a good night of sleep perhaps. So from me and the rest of us at RespShop, we hope all of you special stomach sleepers out there sleep tight. Until next time, friends.